Hello, I'm Twanna Carter, career and transition coach for professional women. Thank you for hopping on board. Today, I'm talking about the 10 tips, the 10 reasons why you didn't land that job. All right. So, we're going to count all the way down to 10. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm a career transition coach for professional women. I help professional women overcome that anxiety and that doubt that can come when it's time to transition into a new career or a new position. And I do that by helping them to recognize and communicate their unique value and by instilling a deep sense of belief in their own strengths and abilities so that they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and pursue a path of purpose that is meaningful to them. So, without further ado, we're going to get through 10 reasons why you may not have landed that job, right? So, number one, it happens. An internal candidate was already pre selected for that job, right? We're going to announce it, wink, wink, nod, nod. That's your job. Don't tell nobody. It happens. It's not fair, but it does happen. No harm, no foul on you. It's disappointing. That's why it's so important to learn how to manage rejection when you don't get the job. Number two, you didn't sell the hiring manager on your value to the company. This is why interview stories are so important. You know, as human beings, we love stories, plays and movies and books are all about stories because we communicate in stories. And when you communicate your experience, your knowledge, your depth, your talent in a story, you kind of reel people into your story and they're just hooked. Like, yeah, I can see. And that way you're demonstrating everything that you have and you're showing your value. But if you don't have the right interview stories, you don't get hired. That's just, this was on you, though. You can learn how to do it, but this was on you. Number three, you didn't know anyone at the company, so you didn't come in as a warm lead, right? I've seen it happen. Right? I've seen it happen. I've been at the table when supervisor walks in and said, "Hey, these applications came through. Do you all know anybody in this pile?" And everyone around the table went around and looked all the names. Like, "Oh yeah, I know this person. Oh, I work with this person there. Oh yeah." Now, for certain, I'm not saying that that's right, but it happens, right? But you can correct this. It's easily correctable by networking, making sure that you go in as a warm lead because someone who knows someone who knows someone knows you. LinkedIn is a great place for networking, right? If you know you want a job at XYZ Corporation, then for sure follow the C suite at this corporation. Follow the HR manager. What are they reading? What are they posting? What groups do they belong to? Go in and engage. For certain, when your name comes across that desk, they may not necessarily know. It's like this name pops up for some reason, but okay, let's take a chance because you're warm lead, right? Especially if your name has a different spelling or it's unique. I know for me, I remember names. If I've seen the name once and it's spelled a certain way, I remember that name. That's name recognition. You can do that just by engaging on and networking on LinkedIn, right? Also, don't forget to use informational interviews. It's a way to go through your network and say, "Hey, I'm interested in this position on what you do, how you do." And not only are you learning about information about the new position that you're thinking you want to do, but you're also expanding your network, especially if you do that at the job, with someone at the job that who already has a job at the corporation you're trying to work for. That's a win-win. Right? Number four, there was a budget issue after the job was posted. Something happened. They said, "Oopsie, we don't have enough money for this right now," and they just pull the job back. Again, that's a no harm, no foul on you. Disappointing, but it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Again, that's the reason why you want to learn to manage expectations because every rejection is not personal to you. This one is not. Number five, there was a candidate with a deeper depth of knowledge and experience than you. It happens. Yes, we like to think we're at the top of our games, but sometimes, it's like neck and neck, and there's one thing that he or she had that you didn't have, right? Again, just, I ask this question of a lot of people that come to me that do a consult with me. They're saying, well, I'm getting job interviews, I'm not getting the hire, they're not calling me back. So my question is, it's like, what did they say when you ask for feedback? That's right. They were just silent. They never asked for feedback. All they can do is tell you, yes, I'm going to give you feedback or no, but at least you know. At least you know, right? And also, it's important to still do a job, a great job, because I've had two candidates. Oh, that's my table telling me it's time to stand up. I'm not going to do that because I'm recording, right? And so I've also had clients who were like just edged out with someone with a deeper depth of knowledge than what they had. They interviewed well, personality was great, and it was they asked for and received great feedback. But I will tell you that some of those candidates got a call a couple of weeks later, and they got offered another job with that same company. So sometimes you are edged out on one, but you do well and you still have that, that upbeat personality, and they may call you back for another interview. You just never know, right? And hence the reason for asking for feedback, right? Number five, I'm sorry, number six. We just did number five. Number six, your personality wasn't a great fit for the team, the department, the section, the company, whatever it is, right? The division, your personality just wasn't the right fit. No harm or foul if you're not. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're interviewing for a job where the team has been together for 5, 10, 15 years, and they're looking for a personality about like the person that they lost from the team. Either you're it or you're not. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? Again, managing rejection is important when you're looking for a job. Okay. Number seven has happened to me a couple of times. It is extremely disappointing. I can tell you that. You intimidated the heck out of the manager with your experience and your background. All they could think of is if I let this person come in here, she is going to have my job. It happens. It does. It's so disappointing because you're like, well, if I wanted to be your job, I'd interview for the job, but I'm not. Also, though, you need to take a look at whether or not you're overqualified for the position that you're interviewing for. Sometimes you are, sometimes you are not. Some people, you know, many managers are really great at sitting and assessing talent, and they know it when they see it, and they get intimidated because they fear that if they bring you on board, you're going to have their job, right? That's no harm, no foul on you. You have no control over that. You probably didn't want to work for someone like that anyway. I, I mean, really, you know, if that's what you're intimidated by, you probably didn't want to work there anyway. Just thought you did, but not really, really. Right? Number eight, your keywords were a mismatch for the applicant tracking system. It is so important because this is an easy fix. Go back and make sure you're reading the position description and you're using every single keyword somewhere in your resume. The applicant trend, the ATS applicant tracking system, it doesn't know you're the best candidate for the job if you don't have the keywords. It doesn't know that. It doesn't. It's not a human being to say, okay, you miss a couple of keywords, but you are really exactly what we need. So be sure that what the position description say the keywords are. That's what's on your resume, or else the ATS is just not going to pick you up. Okay. And number nine, your resume was too darn generic. Who knew if you fit the job criteria or not? It was so generic, and what people can see is you were kind of lazy and didn't want to do a whole nother resume and slant it toward that job. Slanted toward the job. I simply labeled mine A, B, C, D, E, F. I got all the way down to like G or something like that because that just meant I took that resume and I kept orienting it toward whatever job I was applying for. It's well worth the extra time to be sure your resume is not too generic and they're going like, oh, he or she is just applying for any old kind of job. And this is just a generic resume, right? You got to clue them in that you actually fit what they're looking for. Number 10, they couldn't afford your salary. Right? They just couldn't afford your salary. You know, Some companies are good rather than insulting, your intelligence and your experience and offering you $50,000 less than what you're worth. They just won't offer you the job, and I think that is better. But when you get to a point, negotiating may be a thing. If they're going to pay you $15,000 less, but they're going to offer you $350,000 stock options, maybe that works. You just got to know what works for you. For some people, that will work. For others, it would not. Maybe they offer you $350,000 stock options and 2 months off each year instead of one, and they're going to pay you $15,000 less. Maybe you don't want the time off, and that's not going to work for you. But certainly look at negotiations and benefits packages, because sometimes if it's $10,000, $15,000 we're talking about, it's worth it negotiating again to negotiate rather, if you're talking stock options and some other things that will still put money in your pocket, right? Versus just having a salary. So that's what I have for you today. The 10 reasons you may not have landed that job. One of the things at the end of the day is it requires you to learn how to manage rejection, your feelings about rejections, and not just, wow, my computer blinked. Okay, that was interesting. Everything went blank on my screen. Wow. There you go. And so, if this is you, take a look at these 10 reasons and see if you're hitting those somewhere, and ask for feedback if you don't get the job. I thank you for, appreciating me. It was an honor to interview with you, whatever you want to say. What is your feedback, or, which candidate did you go with and why, that kind of thing. And it kind of includes you, whether how close you were. Because again, I've had candidates that were like this close to a job, this close, just, I mean, they were in there. You want to know that, because if you're that close to a job, you don't want to change anything. You may want to go take some training to get a little deeper depth, but that is about it. Now, if you heard all of this, but you're still struggling because you're getting turned down for job after job, or just never even picked up from the ATS system, I do provide a free 15-minute career consultation. You are more than welcome to drop hashtag career in the comments. I will reach out to you and get that set up. Otherwise, I am out for the rest of the day. Take care. Bye bye.